What's good, everybody? Is when I come back at your another video. So with this video, I wanted to explain and break down the major difference between being broke and being poor. Now, people often get it confused because they may use the two words interchangeably, but they, in my opinion, there's a drastic difference between the two words, right? People often use it to describe themselves and their situation or the situation of other people, right? You may hear someone say, that they're broke or that they're poor, this and that. But this video is going to help explain the difference for you because I think it's important to carefully choose your words. And I want to dive deeper into this topic here because I want you to see the light at the end of the tunnel, right? If you're in a situation where, your finances isn't there, right, and you want to improve that, right, this video can at least serve as a starting point so you can know the difference. And, I, of course, want to give you direction to head towards where it is that you want to go, right? So, first and foremost, being broke, right? When someone says they're broke, that typically refers to them not having money, right? Like here we have a dollar bill, right? If someone says that they're broke, it's because they may not have dollar bills in their possession, or that they may have very little dollar bills in their possession, right? And that's okay because starting off, right, being born as a child, right, and growing up, most children grow up broke, right? Because children don't have jobs, right? Children don't have an income. Their income generally depends on their parents giving them allowance or or being given money as like a gift from birthday money and stuff like that. So generally children are broke because they don't have an income, they don't have anything to bring in money, right? That is what being broke is, just lacking the dollar bills. Being poor, however, is a mindset. It's a mentality, right? When someone's poor, it's not about the money. It's not about these dollar bills. It's about their mindset, right? Being poor is having the incorrect mindset. It's having a scarcity mindset. It's having the crabs in the barrel mentality, where the belief that there's only a finite amount of resources that exist, and that in order for me to win, I need to pull you down or drag you down or drag somebody else down in order for me to get what I want and to get what I deserve. And that is a very backwards way to see things, right? Because there is always going to be plenty. There's an abundance in this lifetime. There's unlimited resources, unlimited abundance, infinite abundance in this lifetime. And you need to understand that and you need to accept that, right? And you don't have to tear anybody down in order for you to win. You can win alongside your friends, your family, all the people around you. Each and every one of you can win. And there will still be more than enough to go around, right? There's no need to have to feel as though you have to eliminate everyone else, right? That everyone else's competition, you need to take out the competition in order to win. It's not like that, right? You can still be well off and successful and live financially abundant life while helping other people around you do the same. Right? There was a very startling statistic that I came across. It was a long time ago that I read somewhere that basically for families that are on welfare, which in this case, right, is a government program, right, government assistance. Oftentimes, families that are on welfare are fourth generation welfare recipients. Fourth generation welfare recipients. So that means that a family started with the government program on welfare, and then their children were on welfare, and then their children's children was on welfare, right? So 4 generations, 4 lineages on welfare. That is a definition of poor, right? Because each of these lineages, each of these generations were on equal playing field as far as them being able, like living life, right? And having an opportunity to do something with their life, right? So they have an opportunity to make something of themselves. And to remain on welfare for that many generations, oftentimes that's because of the mindset. That's because of the lack of awareness that these people have as far as opportunities that exist or being able to provide value to other people. Because what oftentimes it's a lack of understanding of finances and how money works, right? And just their overall beliefs of the world around them, right? Like money, for example, this is a piece of paper, but what this signifies, this represents value, right? And so when it comes to finances, what you're willing to exchange money for is because what you perceive on the other side, whatever it is that you're expected to receive, you perceive that to be more valuable than the money you're trading it for, right? So in other words, if you want to eventually increase the amount or earn more money, right, the simplest method would be to provide more value or offer more value to the marketplace or offer value to other people, because those people who are broke understand that it's just they're broke, is that just means that they don't have the money in their possession, but that doesn't mean that the money that they want or the money that they desire, it is in the possession of other people, right? So it's like if you want to eventually become a millionaire and make $1 million, right, you can find a way to deliver more than $1 of value to 1 million people, right? You can do that. That would be one way to become a millionaire, right? Obviously, you would need some sort of way to market whatever it is, that whatever value that you want to deliver to 1 million people to begin with, right? But this is what I mean. It's like the money that you're after is in the possession of other people. So if you want to one day obtain that, right, then you need to offer them something of value, so then they'll exchange the money for that, right? So being broke is simply just not having money. And once again, everyone is born broke, right? Because even if someone's born into a wealthy family, that person, that baby itself, technically doesn't have a job, technically doesn't have an income, right? So like virtually everyone is born broke, but not everyone is poor, because once again, being poor, that is a mindset, it is a mentality. The great news about it is that can be changed, right? It changes when you begin educating yourself, when you begin investing in yourself, when you educate yourself. That's when you learn more about yourself, who you truly are, and the world around you. And then you can begin, your mind begins opening up to new ideas, to new possibilities. And then once your mind is more opened up, now you have a much greater awareness of opportunities when they present themselves, right? So oftentimes being broke is something that's temporary, because there's been many instances where there are people who existed who didn't have any money, or like they had money and then they lost it all, and then somehow, some way they were able to build back a fortune. So even if someone is broke or they go broke, that still can change for them, right? Same idea with being poor, but it's much more difficult for someone that's poor to change that, because it's a mindset, it's a mentality. And if people are closed-minded and don't have any interest in listening to other ideas or growing or reading books or self-development audios, then they're going to remain the same person, right? We all might know someone in our lives who has a poor mindset, and this is someone, and it can be someone who's been angry, frustrated with their life, unhappy with how things are, and yet they still don't do anything about it. They still don't try to change anything about themselves. If you continue to do what you've always done, you continue to get what you've always got, right? And that's how you need to look at life. If you want something in your life to change, you're going to have to change something. You're going to have to do something differently. But more important, you're going to have to think differently. You're going to have to operate differently. And oftentimes people who are poor, that have that poor mindset, they don't do that. They don't change. They don't adapt. They don't grow. And so they stay the same person. This is no different than going back to one of the recent videos that I uploaded, right? How there was a quote that I came across that said, poor people entertain themselves, rich people educate themselves. And that's what it is. Oftentimes people with the poor mindset, the poor mentality, oftentimes spend their money to entertain themselves so that they can escape reality from their life or escape reality from themselves. While the rich people, right, those who have not only access to finances, but those people who are rich in spirit, who are rich internally, who are rich mentally, right, that they know that they're valuable, that they know that they're created, that they can offer so much to the world. These people, right, these rich people, those are the ones that are the people that educate themselves, that focus on investing in themselves, right? It's hard for you to know that you're great if you've felt bad about yourself and everyone around you has always insulted you or belittled you or all these things, right? Maybe coming across reading that book or that audio that tells you that you're great, that tells you that you're an exceptional being, that you're a creator, that you are capable of anything and everything. That idea that probably never crossed your mind could be the seed that gets planted that eventually becomes a tree, right? That could be the thought that changes it all, that sparks everything. But if you're not seeking new ideas or surrounding yourself with better people, or, you know, just seeking answers, seeking the truth, wanting to change for the better, then things will stay the same. The average person generally has a poor mentality, that they'll just accept everything that life throws at them. And if things aren't the way they want them to be, they'll say, you know, it is what it is, that life is the way it is, right? But that's someone that doesn't understand their true power or their worth, right? You can take power and change your situation. You can be the difference maker. You can provide so much value into the marketplace and to the world that it is inevitable for you to win. That is inevitable for money to begin flowing, if that's what you want, right? For money to begin flowing into your life. Because you'll essentially be one of one, right? And people, when they're seeking that expert, when they're seeking that person, they'll seek you out. So opportunities, it won't be you having to always search for opportunities like you used to, right? Opportunities will begin falling into your lap. So I don't want this video to just be just about money, right? Just about this right here. It's more than that. It's deeper than that, right? Being broke just means right now you're strapped on cash, that right now you just may not have dollar bills. But dollar bills already exist. They exist in the hands of other people. There's 8 billion people on the planet, right? It's like you can be able to provide something of value to other people on this planet that will allow you to obtain and receive dollar bills from them, right? So being broke isn't necessarily the biggest issue, right? Being poor, however, is a much bigger issue, because that is a mindset, that is a mentality. And these are oftentimes the people who believe as though they're not good enough, believe as though that they can't offer anything to anyone of substance, people that believe as though they're just not good enough, that they're just that they just accept whatever life throws at them, and that they can't do anything about the situation, that they're just victims to the world around them. And that's what the people that rule society, that's what they want you to believe. And they want to keep you poor so that you remain a victim, that you remain in the position that you're in, that you remain a consumer, that you're always, whatever money comes in, you're spending it on bills, you're spending it on electronics, you're spending it on everything, right? So you always be working nonstop. Being poor means that you're not questioning that, right? That you're just accepting it because life is the way it is. Being poor is feeling sorry for yourself and not doing anything about it, not wanting to turn a leaf, not wanting to change anything, even though things are bad. That's what that means, right? It's not necessarily about the dollar bills. So this video, hopefully, it's an eye opener, because I want you guys to be rich and wealthy. And being rich and wealthy first begins internally. It begins with you accepting who you are and understanding who you are and your true power and your true worth, and showing up with the right attitude each and every day, because that is what will propel you and take you forward, right? Being confident in your own skin, right? These are all qualities. It first begins internally, and then that's when you will see it be reflected in your outer world, right? Because then you'll be offering things to other people, and you'll basically be one of one, and it'll be obvious to everyone else that you're one of one, and you'll be able to deliver value to other people, and ideally do something that you enjoy to help move the needle and help make the world be a better place. So if you're looking to change something, the first thing you need to do is improve yourself, is to change yourself, to better yourself, invest in yourself, educate yourself, because then that is how you go from being broke and potentially poor to being rich and wealthy internally first. And then once you feel that way about yourself and are truly happy and confident in your skin and really work to improve yourself, then that's when you begin seeing the changes happening in the outside world, because the outside world is simply a reflection of your inner world. So that wraps up the video. If you enjoyed the video, do leave a like and subscribe, as we are on the road to 100 subscriber, guys. So once again, guys, it's Joel, and I'm out. See you guys in the next video.